Have you guys ever heard of Sesame Street? It's about a show about Muppets in New York that teaches kids about real-life problems, such as death, racism, 9/11, and one of the most recent episodes and even taught about autism. It introduced its first autistic Muppet, a 4-year-old girl named Julia. This was a huge part of my childhood, and I still love it to this day. I still own many VHS tapes of the show, but I sadly lost one. Elmo's World, Elmo's Wild Wild West. I was going to watch it, but then I slipped and dropped it on the ground and it broke. So I went to eBay and bought a new copy of it. 2 days later, my package showed up. Smiling with excitement, I popped some of my Orville Brandon Blanchard popcorn, my favorite kind, and went to my bedroom, popped the VHS in and pressed play. For some reason, it didn't start with the normal intro to the VHS opening. It just started with Elmo's World intro. I'm guessing that it was just a bootleg tape, but I was just excited to watch it. When I got to the episode, to my surprise, it was actually normal. No dark or disturbing scenes or jump scares. It was very normal. That was until the episode ended. When the episode was over, it then went over to the Monster Clubhouse segment. I was really excited because Monster Clubhouse was actually one of my favorite segments on Sesame Street. Too bad it didn't last as long as Elmo's World, but I really regret watching this segment. The segment was about a banana peel in a scratchbook, but in this version it was really disturbing. The segment started off with the normal intro and the part where Google, Phoebe, and Mel introduced themselves, but the part where Narf introduced himself, that's when things started to get crazy. Instead of going through the roof with the rope, Narf jumped through the window and his body was flailing out of the window with shards of glass flying everywhere. After he landed on the ground, it cut up to a close image of his body. Shards and glasses were piercing through all over him, blood was coming out of his wounds. Google then said, "And that was Narf. But now that he's dead, we're gonna continue the episode without him," said Phoebe. I was really shocked by this, but I kept watching. Then they sang the Be the Monster 2 song was normal, but without Narf. After that, Google said, "What happened to the last meeting?" Mel got a picture as they fell down for some reason. Michael Myers was on the picture. Mel says that we were talking about killing people, said Phoebe, but then they ate the picture. I was shocked that Mel told them, killing children? What the hell? I thought this was a kid's show for Christ's sake. Despite this shocking moment, I still kept watching. Phoebe then said, "It's time for the monster dance." Then Pants showed up. Did somebody said Pants? Said Pants? What really happened was weirding me out. Instead of saying, "No, dance," Google said, "No, you idiot. Dance, damn it." That made me Pants mad. "Man, go jump off a bridge," said Pants. That was disturbing and strange. Seeing them swear to each other was very uncharacteristic of him. Google then got really mad and took a knife and started ripping Pants apart. Of course, blood was coming out of his body, and Pants was dead. After that, it was nap time. They took their nap while they lying next to the corpses of Narf and Pants. When they got up, it was snack time. Duck showed up and said, "Did somebody say quack time?" Google then said, "Dude, have you been dropped on your head when you were a baby? We said snack time." "Shut up," Duck said. Then he punched Google in the face and her tiny nose started bleeding. "Why, you little?" said Google. Google then started strangling Duck. I was honestly laughing at this because it reminded me of The Simpsons. You know when Homer would strangle Bart when he makes him mad? But I stopped laughing when I heard Duck's neck snap. Google had just killed Duck and then let go of him and he was bleeding. They even stole his crackers. I paused the video to go to the bathroom to vomit. I eventually unpaused and continued watching. The doorbell rang and they said, "Who could possibly be?" The banana guy shows up. "Excuse me, but is this the national slip on the bed?" He slipped on the banana right before he could finish his sentence, and when he slipped, he crashed into the wall and bashed his head on through it, and then he fell down. He was bleeding from his head, and the camera zoomed in on his face. There was a big crack on his head. It was so big, it was showing graphic stuff. "Let's put him out of his misery," said Google. She pulled out a gun and kills the banana guy, but luckily the camera was blurry, so I couldn't imagine what was happening. I vomited on the floor. I ran to turn this off, but I kept watching because I wanted to know what happens next. Google then said, "And now it's time to be killed by an elephant." Wait, killed by an elephant? What the hell? The elephant showed up. Instead of asking them if they wanted to play chess, went ahead and started chasing them with his tusks. He killed Google and Phoebe and then flung them into the air, and when they fell to the ground, their bones broke. The elephant then grabbed Mel with his trunk and threw him into the air. When he fell down, he was smashed into bits. That's when the elephant left. The camera started panning down the floor, showing the bodies of all the characters dead with what remains of them. While the credits rolled in silence and then the episode ends, I was shaken up and angry because of what I saw. I immediately took the tape out and smashed it into pieces with a hammer. Then I thought to myself, you know what? I'm getting the DVD instead. So I went to Goodwill and got the DVD instead, and unlike that tape, it was normal. It had the normal Elmo's World episode and even had the normal Monster Clubhouse segment. To make a long story short, I don't want any of you to get VHSs or DVDs from eBay, because you never know what you're going to get. And that, my little pretties, was Monster Clubhouse, the Lost Episode. A Monster Clubhouse Lost Episode creepypasta written by VideoGameFan15. He also goes by Elmo's and Slappy Squirrel Fanatic 2001. Shout out to him, by the way. My final thoughts on this story. Well, I've got a lot to say about it, and most of them are not positive, and I'm just going to be honest. So, when I did get permission from the author to narrate this story, the author did say, and I quote, that he's not writing any of these creepypastas anymore. He's not writing these creepypastas, but I'm definitely going to say that right here, right now, that, well, I'm going to say this, that if he ever decides to write again in the next few years, I hope he takes what I have to say with a grain of salt. And I'm sure that way he will be doing a lot better, and it will help him a lot better with his writing in the future. Okay. Now, anyways, with that being said, I am going to begin with this episode. Well, explain the review. Well, I got a bunch of negatives to say, because that's why the review is not going to be that positive. I just thought it would, warn you all. But, yeah, I am now going to explain the positives about this. There's only a few of them. For one, the grammar is decent. I can definitely say that. The grammar is pretty decent. It did a good job with the grammar. The sentence structuring was decent, I'm going to be honest, along with the storyline and lots of other stuff. So, with that being said, this story, I know it was written back in 2017. This story, all of its own self, is just cliched. Like, I'm looking at this right now. I remember I did rant on this, I believe, back last year. And, I am deciding, instead of ranting like I would be right now, I'm just going to break this story down into exactly what was the problem with the story and stuff like that. Along with the sentence structuring, punctuation, the paragraph structuring, and even the grammar was good. Well, it was decent. But there needs to be a little bit of improvement with the grammar, especially with the sentence structuring and the punctuation. But other than that, it was decent. It was easy for me to read. Although there were a couple punctuation and grammatical errors, but despite that, it was the grammar and all that was good, but, well, decent, but, it could have been a little better, but, with that being said, let's get on with what the problem was with this episode and why I did not like this episode. So I'm going to begin with this right now. Now, first of all, it starts with the normal intro of, have you guys ever heard of Sesame Street? Which, blah, 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 blah. Not really that big of a surprise, because most creepypastas do tend to do that. Now, still on VHS tapes, and then he says that he was going to watch Elmo's World, Elmo's Wild Wild West. He was going to watch it, but he slips and dropped it and broke. First of all, what did you slip on that caused you to drop the VHS tape? Like, there was no explanation on what the protagonist slipped on. There was, no explanation of how the protagonist slipped and fell. And there was no explanation to what he dropped it on. Of, if it was on the ground, was it on something and it broke? There's, no explanation on how that could be the case. There's no explanation on why that's the case. If there was an explanation, at least it would give it some sort of evidence to what happened and stuff. And then that's cliche number one. Oh my goodness. So the person went to eBay and bought a new copy of it, and then he received a package from eBay. Okay, I have to say, that's cliche number one, I do say. Very cliched. And that's the problem with this story, is that it's very cliched. Like this one, the the person going to eBay and buy, this package. Oh my god. Why can I don't understand why these pastas really have to put, a bunch of cliches in it. They're unnecessary, to be completely honest. There's unnecessary cliches that are in this pasta. And that's the big problem when it comes to that. Like, I just don't understand why that's the case. Why is it the case with curry pastas, for that matter? I don't know. I just don't know why that's the case. But, that's the main issue with this story, is that the fact that it just showed, it just had the person, saying, oh, I bought it from eBay. And, that's cliched. That's like very cliched in my book, or anybody's book for that matter, when it comes to creepypastas. I don't understand why people still doing this. I don't understand why they still do this, but they still do. That's something I'm not really sure on why that's the case. I don't know. Okay, now that's cliche number one, and it starts off, and then it gets to the part saying, I'm guessing it was a bootleg tape. Well, first of all, you can't really assume it is because, well, you can't really assume stuff because, that's another cliche. Mentioning it was a bootleg tape. That's another cliche. And, there's another part of the episode, so the episode starts off, but then all of a sudden, Mel comes, jumps through the window and he dies afterwards. Like, what? Like, seriously, why would you even add that to even begin with? Like, how could he die from glass shards? You could probably have injuries and just go to the hospital or something, but there's no way you could die from that. Like, there's no way you could die, because there's, like, no explanation on how Narf died. He just jumps through the window and he gets glass and he dies. Like, why would you even add that? I don't even understand why these creepypastas really tend to do this, but I'm just don't know. Alright. And then the next part is, the person was shocked by this, but he kept watching. And there's, like, Phoebe's name. Now, Phoebe's name is misspelt. The O and the F, the O and the E should have been switched, but whatever. And then the next part is, no, Mel got a picture and they fell down for some reason, and Michael Myers was on the picture, and they're talking about killing children. That's probably just something I really don't understand. Is like, why would you add Michael Myers? There's like no absolute reason why he's there. There's no reason why they're talking about killing children. There's literally no reason why. I don't see the reason why that's the case. Now, I'm just gonna say right now to Elmo and Slappy Squirrel Fanatic 2001, this is I'm only doing these reviews so I can help you get better with your writing, and as well as everyone else. Just thought I would make that clear, so I hope you understand. And then the next part was when Pants comes out of nowhere and has something, and then the swearing. Like, the characters in this are swearing. It's just unnecessary for, these characters to be cussing like crazy. Like, there's no reason why they should be swearing, it's unnecessary for these characters to be swearing. It's just unnecessary. But, I'm just gonna say right here, right now, even though it's unnecessary swearing, I'm just, gonna leave it as that, is that there's no absolute reason why the characters should be swearing. There's, like, no explanation to barely any at all. And then all of a sudden, Google gets a knife, and then she kills Pants. Why? Oh my god. I'm trying to remain calm here, people. But why do people use this when it comes to creepypastas? Like, people just randomly killing everybody. Like, why? I don't get it why that's the case with this story. So, and then it goes to the part where, Duck gets strangled, and then his neck snaps. Like, all the characters are not acting not acting like their character. It's uncharacteristic of them to be doing the things that the Monster Clubhouse people have been doing. Like, there's no explanation on why that's the case. There's no rhyme or reason why they're acting like that. Because if there was, the story could have been, a little bit more explanatory. but it's not the case because it's just slap it on there for the sake of slapping it on there. There's barely anything I could say about this. Now, and then the protagonist goes to vomit. Like, almost every single Lost episode creepypasta dude does that. I think vomiting in the toilet or something like that is becoming cliched in creepypastas, with a sole exception of a few people. But why? Why do people do this? I seriously don't understand why they do this, but And then Google says now it's time to get killed by an elephant, and then everyone dies. Like, what? Why is it that everybody dies at the end of the episode? Like, why is it when it comes to these lots of creepypastas that everyone dies at the end? There's no rhyme or reason why you should do that. And I hate that when it comes to creepypastas doing this over and over and over again. I seriously don't understand why they do this. But, I just don't know, okay, people? Just don't even ask, because, I really don't know. I don't know why these cliches are still existent, but they still are. And then it shows, camera pan on the floor showing the corpses of everyone. Oh my goodness. There's blood, there's gore. Oh my goodness. It's cliched. That's the big problem with the story, is that it's all very cliched. Hey, that's the main reason why this story actually was not good, is because it's just cliched. That's the big problem. And then the person takes the VHS tape out and smashes it into pieces with a hammer. Like pretty much 99 out of all creepypastas or Lost episode ones tend to do nowadays. I don't understand why they do that. Like, why? And then the person goes ahead and gets on Google or some, Goodwill, and gets the DVD. And then he says, to make a long story short, I don't want you to get any VHSs or DVDs from eBay because you never know what you're going to get. Why is it that everyone has to say, don't buy this VHS tape again, or don't buy this again, or something like that? Oh my god. Why is it that every creepypastas have to do this again? I think that just doesn't make any remote sense. I guess that's just the case. I don't understand why, but it just does. And that's the main reason why I really don't like this creepypasta. That just gives me a good explanation on why these creepypastas are now becoming cliched. Now, to the offer, I'm only doing this review so I can help you get better with your writing. I know you did say you don't write these kind of stories anymore, but if you ever do decide, in a few years from now, then maybe you could look back on this and take what I have to say with a grain of salt. And I know you could do better if you do choose to write these pastas again in the future. I know you can do that. I just know you can do better in the future. So with that being said, okay, I'm going to wrap up this review because, I've gone off longer as it is. I point out the reasons what was wrong with the story. If you guys want to look up where it is, it's on, what you would call it. Oh yeah, if you guys want to take a look at it, it's on not GoShareWiki if you guys are expecting this to be on it. It is on DeviantArt. If you guys want to look up the story and read for yourselves, you can. But anyways, with that being said, okay. I think I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up this review. I think I've just gone off, longer than I thought, so I am gonna go ahead and, basically end the review here. Now, this is simply my own personal opinion. Like I'm gonna say, this is simply my own personal opinion, and if you disagree with me, that's fine too. We're all entitled to our own opinions regards to these creepypastas, and this is simply my own personal thoughts. My final rating of this story would have to be 3 out of 10. Only giving it a 3 because the grammar was actually decent, and same with the sentence structuring, the punctuation, and the paragraph structuring along with the grammar. It needs to be fixed up with Google Docs, which won't be a problem. But the whole story is just cliched. That's the big issue with the story, is that it's just cliched. I know number 3 may sound a little bit high for a rating, but you know what? I don't really care. It's just my opinion. But with that being said, what did you guys all think about this creepypasta? Did you all enjoy it? Did you not? Also, what we have done personally to help make this story a whole lot better? leaving out what your thoughts are down in the comment section down below. I'm the Queen of Lions. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. If you're brand new here to this channel, be sure to like, comment, subscribe because I make brand new videos every single day. Don't forget to ring the notification bell when I upload, so that way you guys will get a upload. So with that being said, I'm the Queen of Lions. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. If you're brand new here to this channel, be sure to like, comment, subscribe because I make brand new videos every single day. Don't forget to ring the notification bell when I upload so then you guys won't miss an upload. And as always, please roll the outro because I'm out of here. And I'll be catching you guys in the next video because I need to get my brain fixed. So as always, please roll the outro because I'm out of here. And I'll catch you all next time.